the fact that Israel currently sits as a member state in the UN when they have spit on you, literally shredding your documents, shredding your charters in front of your face. Netanyahu coming and speaking to you and saying the UN is basically a part of Hamas or a terrorist entity. The fact that you're getting so disrespected on a mass scale while they are committing genocide and a Holocaust to a people, and they still are a member state, delegitimizes the UN as an organization, and you are useless to us as a people.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're living in, it's time for Sumud. All about humanity, so this right here for everyone. Uplift, amplify, empower everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're living in, it's time for Sumud.
Visit SumudPod.com to subscribe and connect with us on social media. You can also support our work by contributing monthly on the Support Us page. Even $10 a month helps us continue amplifying Palestinian voices and those in solidarity. Thank you.
On this episode of the Sumud Podcast, we uplift, empower, and amplify Meta's worst nightmare, Mo Hamzeh. Welcome, Mo. I want to give you a proper introduction, if you don't mind. You're a Palestinian American who decided not to stay quiet, even when staying quiet would be safer. You speak up about the genocide in Gaza with emotional honesty, and that honesty has come with real consequences. You've been targeted, physically attacked, and repeatedly removed from social media for refusing to look away. And instead of disappearing, you keep showing up, finding new ways to speak, new ways to reach people, and new ways to tell the truth. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for refusing to disappear and for leading by example for our community.
Thank you, brother.
How you feeling?
To be here. No, I'm really great, actually. I'm glad to be here with you. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time.
I appreciate that. I had the pleasure of meeting you at ArabCon.
Yes.
Welcome to this podcast where you can say whatever you want, and I'm not going to ban you or censor you.
Unfiltered. All right.
This is
how
unfiltered.
All right, perfect.
Unfiltered. There's a lot I want to talk about with you today, but first and foremost, there is the human piece here, the story behind Mo Hamzeh, how you came to be who you are today, and part of your early struggles. If you could just kind of share that with the audience and where you started.
No, totally. And I appreciate the question because I think most people know me as the guy shouting on the screen. So I do have a life outside of that. So I grew up actually in Baltimore, Maryland. Spent most of my time as a child there, where I actually was bullied in the area of Pikesville, Maryland, for being Palestinian, to be quite honest. So when I was a child, when in school, whenever I brought up that I was Palestinian, I would get made fun of. They ask like, what is Palestine? That's not a country. Like they say you're a terrorist, things like that as a kid, which like kind of threw me into this realm of almost hiding it as a kid, which I think a lot of us Palestinians as children ended up having to do as like a shelter mechanism or a defense mechanism. And it's something like looking back, I totally regret. Obviously, we all regret it because it's just so sad that we had to hide ourselves like that as children. But it is something that defined me, though, eventually. So growing up, I did say, obviously, like many Palestinians that were displaced in 1948, my family were displaced to Jordan predominantly. So
both your grandparents and your great-grandparents.
So grandparents basically
Okay,
displaced from Palestine. My mom and dad are both Palestinian. My father is in Ain Karim, which is just outside of Quds, Jerusalem. And then my mom is from Tubas, which you've been seeing as of late, where the settlers are basically tearing it down every single day. So, but yeah, I mean, just growing up, when people ask me where I'm from, I would say Jordan almost instinctively without even mentioning Palestine, just to get ahead in life in a way. So like even in school, just to avoid ridicule, avoid getting bullied. And then even going into like my younger adult life, trying to find a job, because sometimes that actually limits you in getting jobs if you say that you're from Palestine, right? So that was something that was very difficult for me to like internalize, because I'm a prideful person by nature, and I've learned so much from my parents, and my father is very prideful. But then we have to navigate through life in America, in the belly of the beast, as they call it, to get ahead in a way. So knowing where we are today, though, where I think like obviously before the past 2 years, I as a younger adult was just like, this is absurd. I am disgusted. at what I'm doing and why I'm hiding myself in a way. And I just broke free. And it really was as a result of like my friend network. They were a very strong friend network, family network that just made me feel empowered. And I just was like, that's it. I'm going all in. I'm Palestinian. If you have a problem with it, then I have a problem with you type mentality. That's kind of how I kept going. And I think that as a result, I actually started speaking to my friends more about Palestine, speaking to my community more about Palestine. And I had a lot of white friends, a lot of like non-Arab friends growing up in Maryland. And they learned so much from me just in my immediate community in a way. And coming from that perspective, I was just like, all right, if I'm having an impact with these people that are non-Arab, non-Muslim, I might be able to get a little bit of impact if I were to just get on camera. And I hate doing that, to be quite honest. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like getting on camera and speaking like that. It just started resonating with people. And hearing people that, again, are non-Palestinian, non-Arab, non-Muslim, who also were learning some of the stuff that when I was like speaking, people of all walks of life across the globe actually were just like messaging me and saying, I did not know any of this. This is crazy. And then they started researching on their own, which I even go on camera and say, please do not take all your information from me. Make sure whatever you get from me, research yourself and you'll find out everything. And you don't need to hear it from me. So I don't want to be like any authority of anything, actually. Is I want to be like a thought starter in your brain to do your own research in a way. So that's kind of why I got into what I got to.
I remember that one time where I told a friend, and I grew up down south, right? And I told a friend that I was from Palestine, and I know that reaction immediately, that negativity, that hate spewed, you terrorist, all that good stuff. Do you remember that one moment when you were younger?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, there was one actually when I was in a group of friends, and I knew the kid was Jewish. Pikesville is a very Jewish community, by the way. He was a Jewish kid that was in my school that was known to be a bully in general to everyone. Like, he was a non-discriminatory bully in a way, but when I said I was Palestinian, we were actually in a group in the cafeteria, actually, just like a very group public setting where it's like when you get publicly ridiculed in a group setting, it's kind of scarring in a way. So when I said I was Palestinian, he was like, that's not even a country. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. He was like, kept calling me Muhammad, and that's not my name. My real name is Mu'adh. So it's just like that kind of thing just stuck with me in a way. And people were just like laughing, thinking it was like really funny, right? So as a child, it's like tough to go through those things. And those things like actually like fester in a way. And when I go home, I didn't like go tell my parents that kind of stuff. I was just like the type that bottled it up so much inside, which is probably why you see me screaming on the screen so much. It's almost a release for me. It's cathartic. And to be quite honest, that's why I started to do that on social media, is really for myself, because I was witnessing so many things every single day that I was like, I felt like I was bottling it up again, and I couldn't. And I was just like, that's it. I'm going all in. I'm going to just express how I feel. And it was at the risk of being, you know, the angry Arab in terms of the typical trope that we get like thrown into stereotype wise. And I took that risk because I needed to showcase that we are an angry people because we have been dehumanized systemically for so many years. And this is like now happening in broad daylight in live stream. That's it. I'm done. My dad, because he's a traditionalist, was like, what are you doing? You like, stop screaming.
So when you were younger, did they encourage you, hey, be careful, don't talk about Palestine? Was that the same?
It's similar. Basically, he just said be tactful about it and navigate yourself in a way that you get your success in a way, right? So, which is kind of how I did it. But then I snapped as a younger adult and was like, all right, let me still gain my success by being me, who I am, right? So, and this is, in a sense, I had enough of like what I've been witnessing. And the thing is, like, we growing up with our parents, the traditional parents that are kind of more reserved, have witnessed this for so long that they think that, you know, there's a calmer way to navigate this, which I totally get. But I assessed it in a way where there should not be a calm way anymore. We need to be very direct, stop beating around the bush, and just really hit them with every single ounce of facts that you can. But if you're angry, show your anger, because we should be angry.
Yeah. I mentioned to you, we interviewed Laura Shee, and she has a label for that in her book. It's called psychic militancy. Go all in. be aggressive, fight for what you believe in. So I totally understand that. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
The other cool thing about you, nobody knows, is you were almost a professional soccer player.
I like that almost.
Yeah. Can I say the university? Or,
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Johns Hopkins. You were on the soccer team.
Yes.
I don't think anybody knows that.
Yeah.
In fact, when we were doing research on you, we kept on ignoring the soccer part. We're like, no, they're confusing him with some famous soccer player. But it was you the whole time.
Oh, no, thank you, man. Like, I don't know, famous, but yeah, almost was correct. No, but I think soccer was a huge part of my life. Actually, growing up, it kind of instilled that team spirit, obviously, and being able to like be a leader on a team also. So it's something I grew up doing since age 7, actually. My dad was the one that gave me the soccer ball and got me into it. And since then, it really became a big piece of who I am. And I did play at Johns Hopkins, and I actually played on Hoboken FC for quite some time in New Jersey. But then my knees said, that's enough, buddy. And that was it. I had to hang up the cleats, but I play every once in a while here and there. But I'm trying to get my son to be a little mini Mo. Honestly, soccer was huge for me. Yeah. And the other flip side of things is like, because I do want people to know that I do other things other than, scream on camera. I actually have published 2 children's books. I actually brought you one for your kids.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's something that I've always wanted to do as like a bucket list. So during the COVID lockdown time, I was just like, all right, this might be the time to really hunker down and do it. I was missing my niece at the time because I wasn't able to see her in the lockdown. And I was like, how can I surprise her? So I actually published and illustrated a book myself and got it published and available for the public, and it resonated so well with the kids, which was amazing. So and I had my son, and I was like, I don't want him to grow up and be like, Dad, where the hell is my book? And made a book for him as well. And now I have a daughter, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do for her. So
you're going to be maybe doing a lot more books if you're not careful. So.
Who knows? Exactly. Yeah, right.
That's pretty phenomenal, the fact that there's just so many layers to you, bro. I mean, there's so much depth. Again, people see you on screen. They don't realize that you've written these books. What are the names of the books, if you don't mind?
So Talia Rex is the first one. And then the second one's Little Zane and the Sleep Train.
Okay. And where can we get that?
Amazon, I know. It's not the best.
Yeah.
I know. But we got Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So technically, I sell directly from my house hardcover for Talia Rex. So you can get it from the taliarex.com website. So that's coming directly from me.
Okay.
But the softcover book is on Amazon. And then Little Zane and the Sleep Train is Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah, man.
Well, first of all, is there anything else cool like that I didn't find?
No. I mean, it's just really, I love the creative side of things. And to be quite honest, what you've probably seen in my posts, aside from me like speaking, is I actually have done like, political art that I've posted in the past. I've done a lot of poetry, spoken word.
You're going to have to say something now.
Oh, no. It's not a freestyle. I actually write those down. I wish I could freestyle, I swear.
Do you have anything written down you could share?
I could probably find it on my phone if I could grab it later. I like to showcase the creativity side of me in a way while also, pushing, our content in a way, because I'm of the mentality that we're in this like news cycle every single day that you're getting such rapid fire news at you at all times. It's because there is rapid fire atrocities happening every single day, every single minute, that like it's overload for people, and they basically just read and go. But if you are able to extrapolate that information and spin it in a creative way where it's engaging and entice people to actually read and watch, that's I think the best way to really grab people's attention. And I mean, obviously my background's in the marketing and advertising world, so I kind of use that as well. So I think there's an opportunity for all the younger folk and that are very creative minded to push, things that they believe in a creative way. So major advocate of that.
Yeah. So it's hard to put you in a box.
No, I'm never in a box. That's a hard no for me.
Yeah. So I want to talk about fatherhood, because I think father is probably the most important title you and I have,
1,000%.
right?
Oh yeah.
But before that, just again, adding another layer here. Again, you mentioned earlier, people see this angry Arab always shouting at a screen. I don't view it as shouting, by the way, but I hear you. The way I described you in my head, I should say, was in the daytime, you're wearing a executive suit because not many people know you have a full-time real job kind of thing, right? And responsibilities. well-educated. I think you have a master's degree from Hopkins as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yes.
So you're a smart guy. Your dad is obviously brilliant, a whole nother level. I think he's probably smarter than you and I combined.
Pretty scary, yeah.
Shout out to him. And we're going to talk about him later.
Of course.
But how do you really balance okay, I have to earn a living. I have to work with these individuals at my company. We don't want to mention companies' names or anything like that. But we do want to, there is a balance. It's weird that even I have trouble balancing myself too, right?
Totally.
So how do you navigate that?
That is a great question, honestly, because that's something that people don't understand is like I'm constantly trying to churn content like at all times that when I tell people I have a full-time job, they lose their minds. But I do. I have like genuinely a 9 to 5, sometimes way beyond that, working in the industry I work in. And the kids, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of time. I personally have to find the pockets. And when I create the content and all of that, whenever I have any ounce of breathing room, I'm diving deep into Palestine, basically. So it's when the kids are asleep, I dive deep into Palestine. When I wake up in the middle of the night, actually nowadays, which many of us are doing, getting very little sleep, watching all the craziness that's happening, I find little mini opportunities to write something. And some of my best thoughts come when I'm like basically like almost falling asleep and I'm like, damn it, let me wake up and write this down real quick and then, keep going. So, I mean, it's really finding those moments, and I never wanted to detract from my ability to be a good father or a good husband and a good employee in a way. And that's something that I value in myself, is I have the drive to like not have it affect those things in my life when technically it could very easily, with the amount of like work and tireless or sleepless nights sometimes that I have to, push forward and, put out the things I need to put out. So it is tough in the sense of exhaustion and energy, but at the same time, I get a lot of my energy from my kids. I do everything I do for my kids because of my kids and because of kids like them that are now suffering in Palestine. So that is the drive for me at all times.
So how are you treated at work?
Good question.
If you don't mind me asking.
No,
and I want to
good.
be very careful here for you and your protection.
I'll go all in on this. Going into my career and my position right now, which is a pretty high up position in my industry, I had a moment where I was like, should I say something, kind of thing, right? So I did. I went to my boss, my direct boss, who I worked with for a while in the industry, and said, hey, so I have to be honest with you. I am a very vocal voice in the community, in my community, in the Palestinian community. You might see me here and there. She like cut me off and was like, Mo, I've seen your stuff and don't worry, just keep doing you, right? Which was the first time in my whole life I've actually felt that sense of comfort and safety from a person I work with. So it was amazing to have that conversation and that reaction, to the point where it felt different than it used to, in a way, when I'm describing myself as a kid trying to navigate, am I Palestinian or am I Jordanian? No, now I'm like, I am Palestinian. I'm very loud in my community. Are you cool with that? And then my boss saying, yes, do you, and I actually like your content, so keep pushing it out. And if people give you an issue or a problem, please come to me, kind of things, which was a beautiful thing for me to experience in my career. So
when you had a conversation with her, did you say, are you sure you're okay with it? Because when I have conversations with people, because they think they can handle it, I'm like, are you sure you're okay with this?
Yeah. No, sort of, but I think she understood. Yeah. She's seen my content enough to be like, I should be sure then if I'm going to say this to him. So
yeah, I don't know, again, if you can answer this, but coworkers, any issues with coworkers?
No, man. If they know me and they know my stuff, they won't touch me. That's the thing. I'm not to gas myself up, or I'm not trying to like flex or anything like that, but I purposely put out very direct, hard-hitting content that is in your face, but so beyond fact-based. I researched the crap out of the stuff that I put out. I want to make sure I'm untouchable in that capacity, and when you do it that way, you can't really get touched in that capacity. And I actually saw it fizzle out, like physically or visually. I saw it on social media where I started to get those hateful Zionist comments in the beginning, and then it just like tapered off, and no one was even trying at that point. And I got millions of views and stuff on these videos, and to not have like a single Zionist comment on one of them is kind of crazy. It's because they're scared of facts, they're scared of truth, they're scared of all of that like basically their existence is predicated on lies and propaganda. And if you keep dispelling those lies with facts, they will not touch you. So that's how I operate. And once you get to that point, and if a person recognizes me at work, they won't have the balls to come up to me and say anything. So
Or they're afraid that you're going to post something about them.
And I will destroy them. Exactly.
So, yeah, that's fascinating. I don't know if I'm framing this correctly, but what people don't appreciate about your content, there is sort of an academic rigor behind it. There is that research that you mentioned. I never believe that you're just showing up and just spewing information. You're clearly doing your homework. You're lining it up. You're organizing it. You did one for UpScrolled the other day, which I thought was brilliant, about them accusing Asa, I think, of being part of UAE.
Hasan, yeah.
About being part of, and you just like, I'm going to put the UAE flag right here. We're going to leave it there in the corner. And then you just unpacked it. I thought that was brilliant.
I appreciate it.
So where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that ability from?
I honestly, like, I tap into like the creativity side of things with the research. I want to make sure it's digestible and palatable and honestly easy to follow, so that it's clear as day, that people can share it and other people will understand it, right? I don't want it to be so complex or so like far out or even like conspiracy theorist type stuff. Like I want it to be very direct. So even just the very concept, like the way I ended the video, because it's so disgusting how they are like, he is based out of the UAE and he created the app in the UAE, and like what the fuck does that matter if that actually was true? Like why would that be an issue? Because there are UAE people that despise Israel and hate their government, and like genuinely, and I use myself as an example in that, where I'm an American, I despise Israel and I hate my American government at this very moment. Like I can say that out loud. But if I were to create an app as an American, an app that's actually anti-Zionist, an app that does not censor people, does that make me a horrible human because I'm an American? No. The concept is kind of sick to me. So I just wanted to break it down first and foremost, one, to make sure that it's just so easy to dispel the whole UAE thing, because I broke down his life and where he's from and where his family's from and where he started the app and where his servers are even from, and where to the point where you can't even like say anything about the UAE. So it's kind of embarrassing, the propaganda that they put out and try to like light up and start a fire on something that's completely fake. So I just want to make sure it's very clear to people so that they can share it, because it does tend to go viral. And I want to make sure when you create something that dispels it, I want that to go viral as well, to just squash it. It kind of like shuts down the flames.
I think UpScrolled is exposing many people as well.
Totally.
Because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there are some influencers that are not encouraging the move. And they're giving different reasons for it, when in reality, they have their followers there. They don't want to put the work in or go over there. What would your message be to those individuals that are discouraging?
That hypocrisy of that, when they're actually putting out that content on the worst platforms that are notoriously known for silencing and censoring and all of that. So you're basically spewing out your content to keep your followers, which is a complete hypocritical stance, to be like, I'm not going to jump onto this app yet that is claiming anti-censorship, when I'm just going to gauge it out while I'm over here in the Censored app. Like it's so dumb to me. So I mean, that alone is easy to squash, in my opinion. Go try it out. UpScrolled is so in your face uncensored, and I actually put out a video yesterday about this, where even people are trying to dispel, because there was like one post I think that a good friend of mine, Paul Bigger, put out. Just in his mind, like how it could be monitored in a way, UpScrolled, right? But it was not a statement coming directly from Hasan or UpScrolled, like whatsoever, right? The way I approached it was I went directly to Hasan. I went directly to the people that work with UpScrolled to hear their stance. And then they actually came out as a result, because it started swirling on X to be like, this is really not an anti-censorship app. And based on what Paul said, this is not an anti-censorship app. Paul is not Hasan. It needs to come from his mouth. So that's when they issued the statement saying, oh no, we're anti-censorship. You can speak your mind, your opinion, your political stance, whatever the hell you want to be. You can be right, left, gray, purple, yellow, whatever the hell you want to be, and you could speak your mind and not get censored. The only time you will essentially get cut is if you incite violence and incite attacking someone, for example, which is against the law, and which is what gets apps taken down technically, is if you actually have an app that's just openly inciting violence, UpScrolled will not exist on the app store. It's by law. So that's a normal thing. So, but the rest of it is actually true free speech, and we allow anybody to join. So
talk about censoring. How many accounts has Meta close on you at this point?
It's 41 and counting.
41 and counting.
Yeah.
And any other social media sites?
The thing is, like, I've kind of given up on the rest, but X is actually growing a following as a result of some of my most recent videos. And some people are actually propping me up a little bit just on X when they realized Meta kept taking me down.
Yeah.
And so I would say X is like still thriving in terms of my content and account. TikTok is just a lost cause.
Yeah.
It's completely a lost cause. Like anything I post, just anything that I think they just now see my face and that automatically they put it with cannot recommend this content. So basically I'm useless there. I have like a following, but it's just I put out content. It's either filtered through it's not eligible for a recommendation, or they take it down completely. Yeah. So that's useless to me, which now, as a result of the acquisition by Larry Ellison, the supreme Zionist that donates the most money to Israel, and how an IDF soldier is the one that monitors the policy over at TikTok or IOF. I'm sorry, I said IDF. It's blasphemy what I just did. The IOF soldier that actually is monitoring this stuff. It's clear as day that the people are like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, why are we on this app that is now actually making sure they know, and they put up a notification like, we're going to take your information and share it with whoever the hell we want, inclusive of the FBI and the CIA and the government in a way. So they're literally spying on people on a social media app in order to out them and dox them and, destroy their reputation based off of unfounded claims of anything that's anti-Semitic, right? So people are done with that life, and that's why UpScrolled has now exploded. It's insane what we've experienced with UpScrolled. Like, it's almost hard to keep up with. They're saying it's insane. 1 million downloads in literally like a week, and they were 150,000 a week ago. So that level of like growth is crazy, and I'm hearing that it's actually the fastest growing app in history on the App Store right now. It just surpassed ChatGPT. It's not just the #1 social networking app; it's the #1 app in the U.S., which is crazy. So
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Which shows where the world is now.
Yeah. Well, but going back to Meta, how do they tell you you're banned? Do they just take your account away at this point? Or?
Yeah, it's automatic. Everyone that I talk to that have friends in Meta, and we actually know people that work, by the way, FYI, in Meta. That I will not disclose because they want to make sure they stay there to ensure that they understand how much they're silencing people like us, right?
Yeah.
So, but what they do is they have facial recognition technology now. They have voice recognition technology now. They understand even like the way you present visuals. So like the way I have my text style that I like to post in terms of like, the words. They've kind of filtered the way I post those types of texts. It's pretty absurd. It's almost impressive how quick they find me now. Where this year, I mean, I used to get away with like having an account for like a week, 2 weeks. Now this year I put up an account. It's like 2 to 5 minutes gone. Like
less than that. You texted me a new account and I clicked on the link and it was already gone.
Yeah, it's wild actually. And it's horrible because I mass text all my friends and then they're like, "Sorry, buddy, it's gone already." I'm like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
I mean, they've got something that catches me very quick. But apparently, from when I investigated and talked to these people that we know at Meta. Apparently they have direct line of sight of what they do to my accounts, right? So once I'm flagged, it goes immediately up to the Jordana Cutler level, who is literally the chief policy officer for Israel.
Who you've attacked, I think.
I basically broke down her ridiculous speech in the podium of the JNS conference, which was her basically saying, we only look out for the Israelis and the Zionists under the guise of Judaism, right? And like the fact that she was openly saying this on a microphone in a conference, I just like, all right, I got to break this woman down, which was probably the biggest mistake of my life when it comes to Meta. So I think she immediately caught on to me, and now it goes directly to her, every single thing. And it's obvious. They say it's like when she sees it, she immediately removes it. There's no rhyme or reason, no rationale. It's just completely yanked. It says actually your password has been changed and you cannot access this anymore, because technically it's not a guidelines violation. I've done nothing wrong. I even try to navigate the system and keep it clean, and they still get me. So
yeah. But you've gotten pretty creative. Can you talk about the different ways that you've tried to open up a new account? What do you call the one with the mask? What do you call that person?
Metamorphosis.
By the way, like maybe people don't know that that's you. So now,
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah. I mean, that's the sadness of it all. It's like the fact that I had to do that is kind of sad.
It's sad, but bro, that's Sumud. That
I had
fast
to,
is-
man. I
that's-
was like, how
yeah.
the hell am I going to pull this? Like, what am I going to do now? This is my last effort. So I did the whole gambit. Like, I felt like I was like in a spy movie, man. So like I got the mask. I changed my voice. I got a burner phone. I got a VPN scrambler, IP scrambler, like everything. I added everything to a T, and I got away with a lot. That account grew like 40,000 followers in like 5 days.
Yeah.
Right? It was crazy because I was just going all in. And honestly, being behind a mask is actually more thrilling, and you could say more, I think, technically. But in reality, like, it is sad that I had to do it, but it's also a way of testing their system. Like, how are they still going to cut me down, even not knowing who I am, right? Or cut me off. And they did. They found me eventually. I think people just started to realize. My inner circle knew it was me. I think it's pretty obvious with the way I speak. But then, like, others were actually very surprised when they started to find out. But I think I was elusive for a certain amount of time, and then they found me.
You did one recently. I can't remember. I apologize. The cartoon. Was it
Gaza Gazelle?
Gaza Gazelle, which I showed my kids. They loved it.
Yeah, that was cute. But yeah, my nieces loved it too.
Bro, that's so freaking creative.
Man. Well, the thing is the ones, they got crazier and crazier. Honestly, it was like the way to keep myself sane is coming up with a creative username. And I kept putting Mo stuff in it, like Michelangelo, finding Mimo, and all of that stuff. And I think it was like, that part of it was comical, but it's also because it's so damn comical what they're doing at the moment. Comical in a very dark and twisted and sick way, that they are so scared of one individual, genuinely, like one human being being on their platform, that they go to every single length to ensure I'm not on that platform for more than 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
So that's like, one, it's the flip side is a testament to what we're doing is working. They're losing. That's very clear, to the point where they have to literally strip people. Like Saleh Jafarawi, they removed him posthumously, man. Like after he died, like that's the sickness of Meta. Like, and I call it a digital holocaust because it is a digital holocaust. They are erasing us digitally the same way they are erasing us physically in our homeland. So that it's literally a systemic thing that they're doing, is trying erasure in every way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Are you able to get or retrieve any of your old content or your old archives?
It's that's the annoying thing, is like my main account had a lot of my content, obviously, and they didn't give me the opportunity to download any of it. They just stripped it away and took it away on purpose. Yeah. And obviously my phone has only enough storage to have all the videos. So I lost a few good ones. But now I'm starting to obviously archive my stuff a little bit more and ensure that I have like the heavy hitters always accessible if they take me down here and there. But just knowing I have a home in UpScrolled now, and that it's grown so much, by the way, and knowing that there's no way in hell I'm ever going to get removed from that app, it's like a sense of comfort and home that I now feel more inclined to keep my content going and making sure I'm still heard.
Yeah. So I know we kind of joke about it and that experience, but there is a dark side to all of this. And this is where I want to transition into your family, your wife, and fatherhood. Mm-hmm. The impact that this has had on you. I think you've been attacked physically outside of a restaurant or something to that effect.
Yeah, I was.
You was because you're Palestinian. It wasn't clear if that was another Arab or...
Yeah, that's the worst part, is like, honestly, it was a whole altercation that was spurred because of like the whole Palestinian background, and everybody technically, it sounded like, was miscommunicating it all. Yeah. But like when I heard someone even call me like the word Amalek, which that's triggered me immediately. I was like, what did you just call me? Yeah. And that's when I think I got really angry and defensive, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Choice words were exchanged out of anger, but as I left the restaurant, they followed me and then just sucker punched me.
How many?
Ran.
How many of them?
3 people. It was 2 guys, 1 girl. The girl was trying to stop them, but in general, that was what happened. And then like after the fact, we found out one of the guys was actually of Arab background, which was like, kind of blew my mind. And I think it was just like a really sick situation.
From the UAE? Or
I don't know where. Yeah, who knows, man? Honestly, who knows? That was like a weird conspiracy circle thing happening with us. It was like, what kind of Arab was he?
Yeah.
But no, in general, it's just like such a ridiculous miscommunication. We were in such a volatile like world and environment that even like the fact that even happened is as a result of all the bullshit that we were witnessing. Like it was a really sick moment. I mean, honestly, I wanted it to fizzle away because of the situation. Drawing attention to something like that, and especially like the fact that one of them was an Arab, like, I mean, it's just horrible circumstances that ended up happening, which is why, honestly, like, I don't like talking about it anymore, because it's something where I was very angry for a few days when I didn't know who the hell that was. And it's scary, obviously. I am a father, and I have 2 kids, and like those types of situations do happen, right?
Yeah.
All the time. Just knowing like you're living in New York and seeing the Beitar sickos over there literally beating on women and, you know, chanting for rape and just sick stuff like in broad daylight. This happens to people. Like a Jewish woman was hit by a brick by one of these Beitar sycophants. It's something that does happen. I don't want to like this, like, you know, glorify what happened to me. I genuinely like don't.
No, I don't think it's glorified. I'm thankful it wasn't worse, right?
Yeah, totally.
It could have been much worse.
Yeah, this is scary.
There was another moment where I think you were carrying your son, and did somebody attack you verbally or?
Yeah, so that was Jersey City protest. Actually, there was 2 Zionists like trying to disrupt our protest. We were peacefully protesting, and had my son, and we were just really I just love having my kids there to experience and be a part of it. Just it's just a beautiful moment for me. And that beautiful moment's obviously got, you know, trashed on just a little bit while I'm like holding my son. This guy comes and calls me a terrorist, a rapist, while I'm holding my son at the time. And as a very prideful father and man and person that genuinely despises those types of people, it was very tough for me to, you know, hold it in and not go full fight or flight mode, because my son is there. But it's also because my son is there, I wanted to take the high road in a way. Let it fizzle out, essentially put him on video, and put him on a blast. It was exactly what I did. And he was basically like shunned from our community as a result. So I made sure like people knew how vile this guy is, because he essentially said the most vile things in front of children, which they do without any qualms ever.
How does it feel to be a father, especially a Palestinian father, given what we've been witnessing in Gaza, what's still happening, obviously, in the West Bank?
Yeah, that's, I would say, one of the toughest things for me, because being a father is the most beautiful thing on earth. It made me the happiest person on earth. I genuinely, my joy is from my kids. Like every ounce of joy I ever get is from my kids, which keeps me sane. I'm not gonna lie. I immerse myself so much in what's happening there. It's depressing. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's one of the hardest things to be able to get through my day is to see children just get massacred in such horrific ways. I mean, like, I can't even think of any other, like, they've killed children in every way possible. Like, I can't think of anything else that they haven't touched in terms of the way they killed children. And then seeing that so many times, day after day, minute after minute, and then looking into my children's eyes, man, it's so sad, man. It's very difficult for me. Trying not to break down right now. So,
well, it's okay to break down.
No, I know. It's just, it's tough. It's because I genuinely do what I do for my kids. And when I see children that sometimes genuinely look like my kids, like facially, like, I go into this weird dark moment for a second where, like, what the hell would I do if this happened to my kids, man? So, like, that's where I genuinely find the energy. Sometimes when I have zero energy, I look at my kids and I'm like, oh, I am doing this for the kids. Like, genuinely, it's just so sad. But at the same time, to bring it back to the happy side of things, genuinely, my kids make me so happy. I cannot wait for them to grow and see. That's one thing I want to make sure they also know is, like, my dad fought like fucking hell, right? And that's what sorry.
There you go.
I want to make sure my son, my daughter grow up and see that I did everything in my power to make sure kids like them are protected and are free and are able to be as joyful as they should be, as they can be. And that's like my ultimate goal is I want to see a free Palestine where children are running around completely stripped of their fear and stripped of their sadness and depression. Like the kids there, they're dying left and right, but it's not just that. What they feel after is insane. Like once, like fuck the ceasefire, man. The ceasefire is not a thing. It doesn't exist. But like once, you know, the dust settles, the kids mentally are getting tortured. It's mental torture. It's well beyond PTSD. It's not even that.
Yeah.
So my goal is that I want to make sure we get to a point where obviously it's a free Palestine, but I want to see that the kids genuinely feel joy again, right? Yeah. Without any fear. And that's what I fight for.
So how does it feel? Because it's a little bit different than probably how we grew up, because now with my twin daughters, Palestine, Palestine, Palestine. It's all about Palestine. Be proud, fight for Palestine, be proud of who you are, so on and so forth. So I made sure that I instilled that very early. I think you're getting that opportunity now too.
Totally. Yeah. How
does that feel?
It's beautiful. I mean, the thing is, like, now we're at a point where my sister, honestly, one of the proudest moments ever, man. I was like bawling like a baby when my sister sent me this, but like, it was like Culture Day at my niece's school, and my niece Liliana, and her older sister came with her because of what my sister planned for the kids in the school. And she planned out like a full DEP class. They were wearing their keffiyehs and the tatriz dresses, and like white kids, Asian kids, black kids, like just doing the DEP with my nieces. That sight was so beautiful, man. I could not believe what I was watching. In our era, that's not going to happen, man. It wouldn't have happened that way. So it's a different world, which is beautiful. Obviously, it's off the backs of our people, which is the saddest part. But again, our people are the reason why we're able now to be so freely open about who we are. And to the point where now our schools, or some schools, I would say, are allowing that our culture to be predominantly open. And my son was like, hey, I have to create a poster for, things about Zayn, right? And I was like, let me get this one. So I was the parent that helped him out with that project and proudly placed that Palestinian flag. I'm a Palestinian American named Zayn, and just like ran through the journey of his life, inclusive of us actually going to Palestine. And he was very young at the time, but we were there a month before the October 7th craziness. But I was so happy that I was able to share that experience with my son. He was 2 at the time, close to 2. It was just a beautiful experience, man. I couldn't believe that I was there with my son. And I made sure to put that very prominently on that poster to the point where the teacher like explained it to the class, and it was just it's just beautiful to witness.
That's powerful. So how about your wife? So my wife is under a constant state of concern and worry and doing the prayers, the whole prayer right when you leave the house and all that good stuff. So how's your wife handling all of this?
She's incredible. She's like a very solid rock. Listen, it's not easy to be my wife, considering how hard I go, where I'm just like yelling a lot. But she understands. She immediately saw the impact I was having on people, and went all in with me in a way. So she's been such an incredible support system. And like sometimes I'm like, when I say I don't get much sleep, it's because I'm sometimes like, all right, man, what's next? What am I doing? Or what content am I going to write? She like rolls over, is like, go to sleep, please, dear God. And she hears me sometimes when I go on the roof and I yell on my rooftop. She hears it from the downstairs and just like texts me like, all right, you should probably go a couple volumes down. But it's truly beautiful to have a support system like my wife, though, that like allows me to do what I do, is there to really cover for me whenever I am doing what I do. Just having 2 young kids is not easy, and sometimes if I'm doing something or going to a protest or going for an event to speak at and stuff like that, she's been foundationally always like the rock that holds it down in the house. So just in general, she's an incredible human being. I just want to shout out to Ghadir. She is a Palestinian queen. She's a doctor, like one of the best docs in the game, in my opinion. And it's just amazing just witnessing what she's been able to accomplish. And it's a beautiful thing. She's also Palestinian. So we got full-blooded Pali kids and through and through. So.
Yeah. So shout out to the wives, really. And that's
Totally.
why I'm talking about that, is
They're the
because they
rocks,
don't
man.
realize they're the ones behind us, propping us up, essentially, really.
I am genuinely who I am because of her. So
Yeah. Ditto. But I think that's a good transition into the craziness of you wanting to go on the flotilla, given who you are and your reputation.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to go too. I wasn't sure exactly how to get that done, but my wife, obviously, for obvious reasons, I was really worried about that. For many other reasons too. We could talk about it off camera. But what was your thinking of that? Because I know you're probably like, let's go. Let's suit it up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let me get my shoes on, my pallet shoes
ready
on.
to rock. Actually.
Let me go.
I like to joke that like my wife would have killed me before the IOF would have if I had actually gone or tried to go. But no, I mean in general, because I am who I am is the reason why everybody around me, when they heard that I wanted to go, were like, dude, no, chill, take a step back and think about what could happen to you, right? So there's a lot that could happen to me.
Mo, it's not could. You would have been the first one.
Yeah, my dad called it a trophy capture.
Yeah.
No, but it's valid though. Like, and all Palestinians have to think about that. And no matter who you are, it's just if you're going to go as a Palestinian, just know that you are going to be discriminated against the most.
Yeah.
But not just Palestinians. We saw what happened with Chris Smalls too. Like anybody that's not like them is going to get some heavy racist treatment. And he came back with hella stories, right?
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, he didn't tell his family. I don't know if you know that. He didn't tell anybody. He just went.
That's a ballsy man right there, man. Holy crap. No way. I'm gonna, no, I have to ask. I didn't even ask my mom at age 40, bro.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, hell no.
Yeah.
No, it was something I just felt like I had no other option. I was like, all right, I've done everything I can here. What can I do there, right? So that was what I really wanted to do. And then my dad stepped up at that moment when he was just like, so he was actually very inspired that I wanted to go, but he also was like, absolutely no. In his mind, he's like, man, I'm retired right now. Yeah. I also feel like I want to do everything in my power to do something that I just can't do here. Yeah. And he stepped up, man, and came to me and said, I want to volunteer for the Hamzeh family to represent us and to go on the flotilla. And I broke down so quick, man. That was just a very beautiful moment for me. I also was like immediately of the mentality like, no, Baba, don't go. That's so dumb. Please don't do that. You're a Palestinian man and you're older and they're going to do something to you that I will never live with myself, right? If that happens. He said, please, one, I am your elder, first and foremost, but two, this is for me. I have been living in this country for so long, trying to fight for our people for so long, in the country like this, but I need to do this for myself and for my family, right? So seeing his eyes and him describing how passionate he was to go on this trip, it was impossible for me to say no, and for any of us to say no, because it was like a lifelong dream of his to be able to fight in this way, and he's been so inspired by like stuff I've been doing, which is like crazy to see how prideful he's been in my work, because that genuinely like is the best part to me, is seeing the pride in my father, because he's instilled all of this in me, and for him to be so proud and be like, I want to represent us as a Hamzeh family. You have put our name in the light in a way of like, we are fighters. I want to show them that I'm a fighter too. And it was a beautiful moment for me personally. So I wanted to make sure that the world knew him the way I know him. And I put out a video just to announce it from the heart, that it was very difficult for me to even allow or accept it.
By the way, I could not get through the video. It was that deep and that emotional. Can I read part of what your dad said? Yeah. I guess you were trying to convince him not to go on. And his argument was, I have lived a full life knowing I raised incredible children who will raise incredible children. I'm going on this trip knowing anything can happen to me. And if anything does happen, I know it happened on my terms, fighting for our people. That's deep, man.
That killed me when you said that. Yeah, you can't say no to that. That's the definition of who my dad is, and I wanted everyone to understand what kind of man he is. I am who I am because of him, obviously. So seeing him do that was such a prideful moment for me. And he's just a brave individual that's lived such a prestigious life, prestigious in a way where he's a Palestinian man that was so successful. And I was telling you earlier, I can't fathom, I can't even describe how smart my father is, and such a hardworking man, coming with really genuinely nothing. People found him in Jordan, when he was teaching in the hospital, and were like, this dude is brilliant, right? We need him to come to one of our most prestigious institutions in the U.S., Johns Hopkins. And they literally took him. He did his PhD and MD. The hard work and the research side of things, I would say, I got an ounce of those genes in what I do now. But he's a beast to me, and I always look up to him. And just that extra frosting on the cake was just what he did. Being so self-sacrificial in this, volunteering to go on the flotilla was just a beautiful thing to me.
And how did they treat him? What was the story?
So that's the thing. The flip side of all of it is that he went to Tunisia. He was there for 2 weeks. Yeah. Technically they were supposed to go out in a few days, right? So they go to trainings and they figure out, logistics, who's going to go on what boat. But there was tons of delays, tons of really logistical errors, I would call them. Yeah. So I'll try to keep it PC in what I thought about the whole process. They kept passing him around in a way, and he was getting really tired of it. He's older, he's not at home. He just wanted to he just wanted to go on this mission, right? And there was just a lot of dilly-dallying. Some of the things that I noticed were problematic, where they kind of sometimes leaned more heavily onto the influencers over the others. That didn't vibe with me very well. So the mission in itself is commendable. I love the mission, but it's just that certain nuances of it really made me angry. Also made my father angry, to the point where he's sitting there for 2 weeks, was about to get on the boat, and then was told that he's actually not on that boat. He's gonna have to wait a couple more days, and then he was just like, that's it. Yeah. So I told him, I was like, call it, dude. That's it. There's no reason for you to be there anymore. We are 1,000% are so proud of you, and it's just something that at that point it would have been difficult for him. He was already starting to feel kind of sick as well, and I just didn't feel comfortable. We as a family didn't feel comfortable with him going, and he also felt it too. So he ended up coming back, but staying in the actual coalition in a way, in planning things, and speaking to certain things when it comes to the mission. So
I want to say I think that was God's way of protecting him. I think he would have been targeted right away.
Yeah, that was always in the back of my mind, which I genuinely, there was a sense of relief, because I thought that exact thing. Yeah. We all got a sense of relief, because we were of the mentality that everything happens for a reason. Yeah. And there must have been a reason for him not to go. So we were glad he made it home safe.
So what does your mom say about all this at this point?
Yeah, my mom is a beast too, by the way. So I tend to always talk about my father, obviously, because of this whole flotilla thing. But no, my mom is the rock, I would say, in our family. She was actually a stay-at-home mom for most of her life. She was the one, genuinely the one that held it down for the family was my mom. And I genuinely wouldn't be who I am without my mom. She's been incredible throughout this whole process, and she's actually the one that's the most scared for me. I would say of the bunch in my family. She's always like, please stop posting, somebody's gonna come get you. She's of that mentality, FBI is gonna snatch you, ICE is gonna come get you, kind of thing. When we're in this world, that she might be right, who the hell knows? But
I think they would release you immediately, just take this guy. we don't want it.
Give him hell. Yeah. My mom is very worried, but at the same time immensely proud as well. She shares it to all her family all the time, because a lot of my family's in Jordan. The response I get from them is pretty it's amazing, because I love my family so much, if you can't tell. A lot of my aunts and uncles are there that are obviously we're all Palestinian, and when I talk about how I went to Palestine in September of 2023, that was, I think, the saddest part to me, was that I have aunts and uncles that are actually older than the state of Israel, that just are not able to go to Palestine. And me, as a 39-year-old or 38-year-old at the time, I'm able to go to Palestine because of my American passport, right? That was the saddest thing to me. When I say I like experienced like every range of emotion at once when I was in Palestine, I'm not sugarcoating that in any way, shape, or form. I was angry, I was sad, I was happy, I was elated, out of body experience, but then also a sense of guilt, like heavy guilt that I'm here and my family, my aunts and uncles cannot be here and cannot see this, what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
To the point where I would message them and be like, I am so sorry. And they would be like, they tell me, stop apologizing. You are our eyes now. And please send us everything that you see. And that was a beautiful moment to me. And that's when I sent them everything that I saw. And coming back, it was just beautiful to see like how happy they were that I was able to experience that. It's so many ranges of emotions when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
you're going through a lot. You're dealing with a lot. I mean, what you're witnessing, the work that you're doing, you have a job, and people don't realize you have kids. There's just so many different emotions that we're constantly dealing with, that we're constantly under pressure.
Yeah.
How are you doing overall, man?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right, man. It chips away at you a lot, but I'm honestly, the way I describe us Palestinians, which I'm sure you will also understand, is we're very good at compartmentalizing. Like literally, we know what is happening to us as a people, but we also know how to maintain our joy and maintain our way of living for our families, right? So it's something that I think I take pride in. I think Palestinians all take pride in. And it's so easy to let them win and let them destroy us.
Yeah.
And it's a prime example is clearly Gaza. The people of Gaza, everything they've gone through, and they are still the most resilient human beings on earth. They still find the joy in their day that you see on camera with the rubble literally, surrounding them. You see their happiness and joy. It's like, it's something that is instilled in us as Palestinians, I think, that it just keeps us going. But it does break me down. I do feel days where I'm like defeated. And it's really my support system that, saves me and brings me back to life in a way.
I don't know the lady's name. I don't think it's a student. I think it's a working professional who spoke up for Palestine. Apparently she lost her job or ended up quitting her job. She's unable to find a job. And she posted a video. Again, I don't know if this is propaganda or whatever it is. I don't think it was, but where she said, I regret speaking up. I can't get a job. I can't do anything. Nobody's supporting me. Nobody's backing me up. I regret speaking up. I should never have done it. What's your message?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not one to attack that mentality because it's a different world when you lose everything, right? It sounds like she lost everything as a result of speaking out, right?
Yep.
So I get the mentality of where she's at, but we're in a moment in time now where stepping back and hiding ourselves again is going to exacerbate the pattern that we've been essentially experiencing our entire lives.
Yep.
So going back into hiding mode is not going to do anything for us except for actually destroy us as a people. Right. So we need to go all in, I think. This is why I chose in the way I operate. I was like, all right, I'm genuinely going to go all in on an extreme level to the point where there's no turning back. And I think everybody needs to get to that point as Palestinians and pro-Palestinians, especially because you have more power than you think when it comes to representing our people in a way, right? So if we're going to go all in, you need to go all in with us as a support community in a way, as allies, as we want to call them or whatever we want to call them. The Jewish community needs to step up for us as well. They should be the bodies, actually, that should be putting themselves on the line because of how they are being used, their religion's being used and weaponized to murder us and erase us. So there needs to be like a combined all-in effort at all times. If you lose your job, I hate to say it, so be it. You shouldn't be at that job, in my opinion. Yeah. A company that does that to you, fuck them, is how my mentality on the whole situation. I'm not gonna lie. So
don't you feel a little bit accountable? Maybe this is because of my age too. It's like we're not doing enough. She should be able to pick up the phone and find a job.
100%.
Right? Easily.
Correct. Yes. It's kind of why I love the way Dearborn operates.
Yeah.
They invest in their people so well.
Yeah.
And if someone's like can't find a job, a person of your community is going to pull you in. And the way they're operating is a beautiful model for our people as Arabs, right? Yep. They're investing in each other, right? This should happen, I think, on a mass scale. Like, our people should be finding these people jobs immediately, whether it's be at your company or being a reference even for that person to ensure they get a job at wherever they need to get a job. If you're a lawyer, you fight for that person. You need to step up as a lawyer if you're in that capacity. Make sure that you fight for that person, like tooth and nail, right? You can't just let them fizzle out, which is very similar to what I'm going through, honestly, with the social media shit. It's like, I've gotten 41 accounts removed, and not a single lawyer is stepping up to fight this shit. That it's like sick to me. I'm not gonna lie, man. So like, they've taken down Saleh, they've taken down Subhi, like he's gone. All the journalists, they've taken down Guy Christensen. They literally, like, every human being that's been talking for us, they're just removing, and we're letting it happen right now. It's the saddest and sickest part about it. We have lawyers in our community everywhere. You should be banding together to figure out how the hell can we attack these like absurdly discriminatory platforms that are so blatantly discriminatory. They're keeping accounts up that are like genuinely terrorist organizations like Betar. Betar is a classified terrorist by their own ADL, right? And they have a page still, and they go up to people and say beep beep with a beeper and basically threaten them in a way. And they're still up there. Their videos are still up there, right? So, and then when I come in here and try to fight for children not dying, I get removed, right? And just because I'm a Palestinian. So the fact that no lawyers are stepping up in that capacity to help people like me and people like us that have been silenced systemically for years now, I'm going to call you out as a lawyer, as a group of lawyers even. You need to figure out a way to class action lawsuit, do something to like even remotely show that you're fighting. I don't care if you lose. Show that you're fighting the system. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. I can't answer that, man. It genuinely makes me angry.
Yeah. So the answers I get, not just from attorneys, but, we have to be strategic. In my eyes, we were strategic way before October 7th, like quote unquote strategic, right? We have to have tact. We have to, be careful and all of this. Or we have to build the relationships first. And for me now at this point, that's all stalling. That's just delaying, 100%.
Right? It's fluff.
So I'm going to ask you again, just work with me on this one. Why are they not helping us out? Deep down, as a Palestinian.
They want to keep their jobs.
They want to keep their jobs, yeah.
Totally.
It's about money at the end of the day and their
100%.
comfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
The advocacy around Palestine is starting to settle down. People are starting to assume that the ceasefire is there. It's not a ceasefire. That's bullshit. We know that. People are starting to drift away from the cause a bit and not staying strong and kind of continue the effort of speaking up. What's your message to them, and what do you think we need to do about that?
When we go back into hiding, it destroys us as a people, right? So I can speak to the Palestinians directly, which is you have an obligation to keep going at full throttle force, especially now that you have a global mass following now that understands our plight at this point, calls out Zionism for what it is. And now it's the time to push forward more than ever as Palestinians. And I'm seeing Palestinian communities themselves not speaking up as much as they should. I'm being straight up with you. Like, I live near Patterson, which is Little Palestine in New Jersey, and there's people there that are silent as shit right now. So I need the younger population to step up 100%, because we're showing that the younger generation is going to be the future, like, for how we operate moving forward.
Right.
And the fact that the younger generation that I'm witnessing now knows what's going down, they understand the corruption and the tentacles of what is going on with our society that is being driven by a foreign entity that is literally a terroristic foreign entity infiltrating our country and our freedoms and our freedom of speech and the way we operate and our jobs and everything. It's like the younger population is going to save us, hopefully. So they need to push forward as much as humanly possible. So we saw the protests and the encampments and all of that. It was great, but they got scared off.
Yeah.
They genuinely got scared off, and it's sad to see, because a lot of kids lost their scholarships, or actually were kicked out of school just for being human beings, and Jewish people were kicked out of school for fighting for a free Palestine. We're in this very sick system that we need to keep pushing and fighting, or else if you want them to win, then that's when you go into hiding and they win. That's it.
Yeah.
We become a afterthought, and that's something I refuse to let happen. That's why I'm going to keep going harder than ever, as I'm trying to showcase as much as I can. But I need people to step up, man. More now, because the way I describe it is the ethno-state of Israel is now genuinely on the back foot, standing on the cliff, on the edge.
Right.
The way we've been operating, we've won the narrative. We have the narrative. They're lost as an entity. They are nothing without the funding of the United States government, as we know.
Yeah.
We now genuinely have to kick them off that cliff. And for us to back up makes them move forward, away from that edge now.
Yeah.
So then where have we landed after that? So got to fight, keep fighting.
You know, it's interesting. I had a Palestinian, it came from a good place, I think, out of concern. Hey, since, the ceasefire is here and things are slowing down, maybe you don't have to do the podcast anymore. Maybe you can just, I'm like, no.
That's not Sumud, man.
Now we double down. We keep going.
100%.
And I really had to tell that person, no, we go even harder now. Right, because people are definitely stopping. We have to go harder.
That's why I love the name of the podcast, man. It is what it is. This is a podcast that needs to go harder too. Yeah.
Anytime you want to be the guest host, let me know. I'll go.
I don't know. You're a killer host, man. That's pretty impressive.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I want to talk about this pop-up entity called Israel.
Oh yeah.
If you were speaking in front of the UN today, and they asked you what needs to be done about Israel, or how do we solve, they're going to use the word conflict or war. Of course, that's not true. You have the mic. What are you going to say to them?
Ooh, jeez. I would want to dispel every single thing that I call political fluff statements in a way, which is two-state solution. That alone, I am completely against that concept. It is literally a soft word in a way to just basically exacerbate the system that currently exists. Because if you know your history, their version of two-state solution is still stripping Palestinians of their human rights, inclusive of one of the stipulations is that they cannot have their own military if they end up having a free state, sovereign state. That is not a free sovereign state. Every country that is free and sovereign has their own military if they want it, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact that they even put that stipulation is an automatic, what is this? What two-state solution is this? What kind of equivalency do we have here? But also, they stole all our land through rape, torture, murder, and mass expulsion that we've been witnessing in real time, and we're seeing it right now as we speak through real estate sales in synagogues, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
And that they're actually allowed on our soil here in the U.S. So my statement would be, one, Israel does not have a right to exist by international law, first and foremost, because they, took the land through literal mass murder and holocausting us as a people. And now they're doing it in real time on live stream. And now genocide experts all around the world, inclusive of the UN, you guys, the UN, have said that it's a genocide. But you guys are all lip service. Literally the UN, to me, is lip service because you just basically classify things but don't act on anything. You do not do anything. The fact that Israel currently sits as a member state in the UN, when they have spit on you, literally shredding your documents, shredding your charters in front of your face. Netanyahu coming and speaking to you and saying the UN is basically a part of Hamas or a terrorist entity. The fact that you're getting so disrespected on a mass scale while they are committing genocide and a Holocaust to a people, and they still are a member state, delegitimizes the UN as an organization, and you are useless to us as a people. So that's what I would say.
I think I read somewhere where you said that every Israeli citizen should renounce their citizenship.
Yep.
You still stand by that?
100%. The one-state solution, it's Palestine. If you want to fight tooth and nail with us Palestinians to maintain our freedom, and you want to stay there, you renounce your Israeli passport or citizenship. And if you want to stay there and fight for us, you would technically be a citizen of Palestine.
Yeah, right on. Is there anything you want to share with the audience that maybe you don't get to share on social media with a 1 or 2 minute clip, or all the great work that you're doing? Is there anything that you want to get out there?
Honestly, we're in a world where they're going to try to manipulate the way our children learn in a certain way, right? You even have the guy that was just appointed by Trump, the Jewish rabbi, who's going out publicly saying that he wants to change textbooks to be more pro-Israel. Like the fact that that's coming out of a person's mouth in the United States to manipulate children to like a terrorist entity like Israel, that's sickening to me. So as parents or adults, or if you have kids or not, you should be fighting the system of education that is trying to manipulate the way our kids' minds are going to be formed in a way. So I've never touched on this topic, but this is something that's like very important to me, because if I hear from my kids coming back from home saying, we learned about Israel and we learned about this, like I'm going to lose my mind, right? So that's something that we need to be very cognizant of as parents, and ensuring our kids are not spoon-fed very detrimental ways of thinking from a young age. They're sponges, man. So like they will learn a certain way of thinking in the school. So if it starts infiltrating our schools, that's a problem. So we need to make sure we fight that tooth and nail, because I know for a fact Zionist groups are trying to include Israeli education in our system, educational systems. And this is not happening just in the US. This is in the UK. Germany is literally doing this as we speak. We need to fight that, because our kids are our future, and then we need to make sure that their minds are as open and free as humanly possible, because technically it's a form of oppression to children if you educate them that way.
So I'm reading between the lines, and I can see in your eyes, are we talking about a Palestine charter school, private school kind of thing that you're working on? That could be somewhere in the New York, New Jersey area?
Man, I would love a Palestine school. I'm not going to lie. I think every single city needs a Palestine school. The People's Forum, actually, in New York, if you've heard of it, is just a really amazing, it's a venue, a community venue where you can come and there's educational materials and pop in and learn about Palestine kind of thing. I don't want to mandate or force people to learn about Palestine. It's just, I think out of just true nature of what we've been experiencing, you owe it to Palestinians, by the way, to learn about us, because we have exposed so much to the world on the literal interconnectedness of all the corruption that is happening on earth. When we say we are all Palestinians, that's what we mean, is because genuinely the systems of oppression that have been keeping us down as Palestinians with the dehumanization and the way our oligarchs and the authoritarian system and the draconian ways of living, and literally we're living in fascism, which is predicated off of the way Israel is kind of being run. It's an apartheid fascist government that is now in cahoots within a fascist government in the US that's literally oppressing their citizens, and now we're seeing they're getting killed on the streets. U.S. citizens getting shot up, freely at this moment. The same exact tactics are being employed in the IOF in a way. ICE is trained with the IOF. Our police forces are trained with the IOF. It's all connected, man. So the fact that you have American citizens getting shot, and then American government coming on screen lying to our faces about it, and literally calling the person that was shot, that was murdered, a terrorist, which is spitting image of what happens to Palestinians daily. We said that this would come to our doorstep. I said it from day one, that if you guys do not stop what's happening to us, it will be at your doorstep. It will be literally where your families are, your children are. Are you cool with that? Now the fact that it is at our doorstep, you understand our anger now.
A few more things. Any chance that you're going to run for office?
I'm anti-politics for myself, but we need people to actually join to make a difference. Like the Rashidas, I love very much. We need the younger generation to get into your local politics, even just become a council member. Join the political world so that you can make a difference, not just for us, but for humanity. Because at the end of the day, Palestinians are all for humanity. It is what it is, but you need to humanize us first for us to really fight for you too. So make sure you humanize us and do it on a public scale in a political forum, and make sure that you can do it from local to federal to wherever you want to do it. But me personally, I will not. I will stick to what I do best, which is I'll stick to being a father and, just speaking for my people when I can.
Amazing father, amazing human. I just want you to know we all appreciate what you're doing. Yeah. And I know very well what you're dealing with and what you're going through and the pressure that's on you. So we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So just two more things. One thing that we've been doing is having the guests look at the camera and deliver whatever message they want. But after that, I would like you to read some of your poetry, if that's okay with you.
I guess I'll look at the camera now.
Yep.
Okay. My message to you all is to please never be complacent. Do not slow down. We are now at a moment in time where we need to fight harder than ever. We know exactly what's in front of us. We are fighting a fascist authoritarian Western society that is trying to keep us down. And it's very apparent how connected we all are as a people in fighting this together. So for us to take a seat back and just let it happen, it's a hard no for me. I need you guys to really step up. We need our younger generation to be louder than ever. And please do not slow down. We have them literally on their back foot. It's time for us to kick them down.
So would you do us the honor, since you've announced that you're a poet and an author, would you mind reading some of your poetry to us?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't classify myself as a poet, but I like to write poetry.
Mo the poet. That's what I'm going with. Yeah.
Poet and didn't know it. All right. So this one I just call Palestine. It's very standard. All right. Palestine. We're red, we're white, we're black, we're green. We've bled for what's right, and they attack our genes. Kids dead, and our plight is that we lack what we need to fend with might against their stack of misdeeds. Palestine. We're strong, we're brave, we hope, we dream. We long to be saved from the scope of their regime. We sing songs, our flags wave, as we cope with the extreme. Their wrongs lead to our graves, that then stoke our loud screams. Palestine. We're red, we're white, we're black, we're green. We dread the night as they blast their machines. In bed, the light begins to crack through our screens to end the fright, but then it's back to the same routine. Palestine. We're strong, we're brave, we hope, we dream. We belong to an enclave, roped off by their schemes. They prolong their wave of cloaked stampedes, guns drawn in our faces with smoke setting the scene. Palestine. We're red, we're white, we're black, we're green. Misled by the smite of a backwards mainstream, they spread and write lies, and that's the common theme, instead of shining a light on facts the world has seen. Palestine. We're red, we're white, we're black, we're green. We're strong, we're brave, we hope, we dream. Our only ask is that you join our team in freeing the beautiful and righteous people of Palestine. We are Palestine. We are Palestine.
That's amazing, Mo. Seriously, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for coming down to DC and visiting. You are welcome anytime you want.
I
You want to take over the podcast at any point, just let me know. I'll give you the mic. It's all yours, man.
Listen, man, this is your podcast and you are amazing at it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's our podcast. It's the people's podcast. There you go.